What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I am Steve, and we go over your rental fleet and how to make it run as smoothly as possible. Now, this goes for any rental fleet that you have going for vehicles, and you are using the platforms of Turo, Get Around, Hire Car, Avail, all these things. I mostly work with Turo, so that's basically what I go over the most, but these tips and tricks work for any platform that you're going to use to be able to figure out your market and how you need to go about this. If you guys are new to all this and you're not quite sure what it's about, they're all platforms where you can basically rent out your car peer-to-peer and use it as like an Airbnb, but for your vehicle. You can rent out your cars to people that are traveling, that are coming on incoming flights, or just locals that are looking for a ride while their car's in the shop. Or what I've seen a lot of is people that just want a nicer ride to go on their little staycation, and maybe they don't want to put the miles on their personal cars. So there's all kinds of different people and reasons why they're going to use your car, but there's definitely a demand for it, and all these platforms are just basically trying to create a supply for that demand. Now, these platforms have gained a lot of traction with the recent thing of, I don't know if you guys noticed, COVID, and rental car companies, the bigger box companies, Hertz, Budget, Enterprise, all those guys just depleting their fleets, selling off because they had payments, and when people aren't moving, people aren't traveling, they just don't have the need, right? The supply or the demand went down, so they had to adjust the supply. Now, Turo and Get Around, they've all been around for a while, but this is basically when all these platforms started to shine, is once everybody was able to go out and travel again. This is why it's out. But enough of that. We got a little long-winded. I got a little sidetracked on that. So, should you set up an LLC for your fleet? There's a lot of ways to go about this, a lot of ways to think about this. Simple answer is do what's best for you guys. Talk to your CPA, figure out what works best for you guys. I will say, if you just have a couple cars, you know, 1 or 2 cars, and it's just a side gig, a side hustle, you're probably not needing the LLC too much. And it will help for some tax benefits, but for the most part, you shouldn't really need it for 1 or 2 cars. If you guys are building up a fleet of cars, I would definitely look into getting an LLC, starting it up, and that way now you can get that insurance, you can get all the tax benefits, and basically you can protect yourself, so that way if something happens with the business, you're not getting sucked into it with your personal assets. That's the biggest reason with all this stuff, is set that umbrella so nothing comes at you personally. So since we are going to get into this, I'm going to throw that disclaimer out. I'm just going to tell you how I did this. I'm not a tax professional, I'm not a financial advisor, anything like that, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. The way I went about this is, in my state, Arizona, I was able to go to the Arizona website and set up my LLC. There's multiple ways you can do this. You can do it yourself. You can do it through a third-party service, you know, like LegalZoom or anything like that. They will set it up for you, and it's just gonna cost a little bit more if you have that third-party service do this for you. The nice thing about having them do that is that basically now you have a representative for your LLC, and if there's any issues, they are sending all the information to that representative, and that representative will put it to you. Otherwise, you're the representative, and you got to make sure you stay up on all the paperwork. So there's multiple ways to go about it, just on the LLC side of it, just for setting it up. But you can set it all up, figure out what you need to do. I will throw a little bonus nugget in here. If you guys are running these luxury, exotic cars, be extremely careful with these, because if you are buying the cars under the LLC, and you put on there that you're a rental fleet company, now you just branded those cars as a rental car. And if you're in a luxury car, if you're in an exotic car, that's the last thing you're gonna wanna do. It's just gonna hit that depreciation. So somehow make it to where it's a fleet vehicle and not branded as a rental, because that's just gonna hit you hard. Some of these commuter cars, it's not as big of a deal. It is what it is. You know, you're depreciating them. Honda Civic, you know, who cares if it was a rental? But that's one thing to take into consideration when you're doing all this stuff, because honestly, if you're going out and buying a $100,000 car or $200,000 car, you're going out and buying a McLaren, are you going to want to buy something that you saw was a rental? You're like, nah, I'm good, don't need that. Don't need that headache, even though you know they have been maintained and all that, you just don't want it. So once you go through and register your business, you set it up in your state, you can actually go in and get an EIN number, and this will be your social security number, but for the business. So this is how you're going to start rolling everything to where you don't have to use your personal credit. Right off the bat, you probably will have to sign and be the grantor of all this stuff, so that way you can start up the credit. It's just like when you're just starting off and you wanted to get a car, but you had to have parents co-sign or somebody co-sign for you unless you had cash. But either way, it's just like that. You're basically co-signing for this baby company that you started. Now you can get an EIN number, you can get it for free. Once again, you go to the government website and it'll get you one. You just gotta register your business name with it and go that route. You can also do this, same thing, LegalZoom, they can just do it all in one, just do a bundle. So pick your poison, whatever your preference is, just go with that. But just know that when you do have to go get that EIN number, it's at the IRS.org. If you feel you want to go that route all on your own. There's tons of tutorials on it. I won't get too far into it. I'm just kind of letting you guys know how I did it. If you guys want to know more about how to get into it, by all means let me know. I can make another video or you can book something with me. But my best advice is get with your CPA, or if you're not comfortable with it, then have LegalZoom or somebody like that handle all this for you. All right, so now that you guys have your LLC set up, you got your EIN number, what I would do is go straight to the bank, go get a business account. Get your business checking account, and this is so you're not commingling, you're not mixing your personal life expenses with your business expenses. That's the last thing you want to do. It's going to be such a headache for your tax purposes. Me personally, I did a credit card, but I did it through the business account, and that is how I run everything. That's basically how I keep my books. Now, I do keep a separate set of books just to maintain and double check everything that I'm doing, but I make sure that any business expense is on that credit card or it's on that debit card, so that way when it comes time for taxes, I can just be like, here you go. Here's my statements. That's everything I've spent. It's all yours. You figure it out. That's what you pay the CPAs the big bucks for, is to figure it out. But you want to make sure you're staying organized with everything as well. Like I said, I do keep record of everything on top of my statements, but it's just it's a way to double check, and that's just how I run it. So me, when I went and set up this business account, I went to Chase. I was able to get the Chase Inc. card. It's one of those things that I had to back the business. I had to co-sign for the business. And with that, I was able to get a credit limit with that credit card, but it was because I had to co-sign. So I'm kind of rolling. So you kind of start it all fresh, and you have to start working at it slowly. It's baby steps. You're not going to grow this overnight. And I mean, some people do make it happen like overnight, quick and blah, blah, blah. Just be careful how you do it, but you want to make it sustainable. If you guys do decide to go with any bank like Chase, like I did, then let me know. Check the description below, but there will be a link, and basically both of us will get points or cash back for you guys setting up your accounts. So let me know, and I'll definitely have it in the description below, so that way we can both make out on this and get a little bit extra cash, right? A little extra cash is always nice to have. But now you're rolling, you got your business account, you got your checkings, your savings, and you are set. That way you can put away for taxes in the savings account, and you can just have your normal day-to-day operations on the checking account, and now you got your Business Inc. card or whatever business card you want. Now the other thing that's gonna help you out huge for building this business credit is go register with Duns and Bradstreet. This is basically like the FICO for business accounts. This was where you can monitor your business credit, how you're looking, what you're rated at, and basically what they think that your risk is. And through Duns and Bradstreet, you can also upgrade to getting SBA loans or what have you, just credit cards. They'll suggest credit cards. It's kind of like Credit Karma, but for your business. They're gonna say, hey, these credit cards we think are gonna work well for you, and this will help build your credit. Now make sure when you guys do this, you're not maxing out these credit cards and just leaving them and making them monthly payments. You need to be on top of this. You need to do this right. And if you guys are new to the whole credit thing, period, all it is basically use it as a debit card. Make sure you're not overspending what you're making, but we will get into another video on that. So make sure you're going in and basically buying whatever supplies you need for the office and then pay it off that month. If you got registrations coming up on your cars, you can pay for that with the credit cards and pay it off. Any normal monthly expenses, just put it on that card and constantly pay it off. This will help build that credit. And then on top of that, Dun and Bradstreet will also, there's an app or a link in there to be able to apply for SBA loans. Now some of these are just revolving credit lines, and some of them are an actual upfront, here you go, this is how much you get, and we want it paid back within 24 to 54 months. It all depends on how you want to go about it, but make sure you guys are just staying on top of this. Do your due diligence, check out what you guys need, what's going to work best for you, and just make sure you jump in this and start working and getting it getting that credit rolling. Because the last thing you want to do is have all these cars, this LLC set up, and you're co-signing, so it kind of breaks that umbrella because now they're still your personal assets, and it's just kind of a pain. So you want to start rolling this credit and start building it just as you would your personal credit. Hopefully this helped out a little bit. Like I said, check the description below. I will have links for most everything that I use on the day-to-day, how to get a hold of me, and most importantly, that Chase link down there so we both get paid on it. Hope you guys like this. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Stay tuned. I'll have a bunch more coming at you. If I'm missing anything, definitely throw it in the comments. I'm always down to learn new ways to go about things. I definitely don't think that my way is the only way to go about it, and you guys may have a way that just works way better than I do. So stick around, and we will catch you guys on the next one. All right, later, y'all.